月不需要购买社保啊。工资待遇按2200多几斤来算。还有我们这里是想办法1个月转一次单，1个月转一次单，没有长白单啊。
是沿着那片田野啊，手边的枣花儿。
像我这样优秀的人，本该灿烂过一生，怎么20多年到头来还在人海？
我的机动车道，我要头盔，2天前那个机动车就罚人，现在还没超负哦。主化适合违法行为啊，现在要立即主化。
有最美的爱情，
不要这样，请你不要这样，你这样我们该处罚还是不处罚。
处罚也蛮长的，处罚也蛮长的。
我最美的风景，我跌跌撞撞奔向你。
耕地占用税从来没有听说过，
老百姓挣个钱懒得给啥，你再交这个税那个税是吧？那肯定是增加负担啊。
交税的话应该交税，这个是属于国家的政策是吧？
咱有些该支持咱支持，老百姓口袋都别免，你说叫拿着多少钱就比较。
来了就是要让台湾同胞享受跟大陆同胞同等的待遇。我们拿出真心对待台湾同胞，是因为我们大家都是中国人。在大陆，这里是你的祖国。
来了，就是要让台湾同胞享受跟大陆同胞同等的待遇。
夏天是赏雪一大奇观。
大家看一下，车队已经被冲翻了。等一下，什么事？来，你这没戴头盔，这是第一个哈。你这里驾驶证呢？来，这没得事嘛。不，把驾驶证拿出来。你要没挂号牌哈。第一个没有戴头盔，第二个没有挂号牌哈。我这来路过的，我这来路过的。我跟你身份证拿出来，对，把你这里证件拿出来，你这里行车证、驾驶证。
在你要不听了？来，你跟我这说去，这说的方式。
不切好吧？不切好吧？
你要的东西他是说的。
不是，你的行车应该佩戴，你行车的时候应该佩戴。不是，我是那样说的，我说你的行车的时候应该佩戴驾驶证和那个机动车行车证。
看啊，这物资，床，全部到位啊！这床全部到位啊！
看一眼这块是东边卡点这块啊，挺老多警车的，在这街上了。那人咋的了？那人，我听说要打幺。
今天我去跟姑娘安葬，一共8个人都跟了我。自从我出门到墓地安葬，到了墓地了之后，那个叫么子那个公墓的人又派了几个人，又跟了他们一起，又把我盯到，一直等到我安葬回来。我说搞完了之后，我去买的菜呀，那个卖菜的说叫么子没得菜卖了，就给我指另外一个位置，我就到另外一个位置去买去了。然后那个社区的人没看到我，就是门口那个志愿者没看到我，马上打电话到处调人，到处报告，说没看到我。不是找我的亲人看护我，他是说不让我去社区，只能在社区里面活动。我那个社区的大门去不了，我那个门口的那个健康码做了手脚，现在疫情当中，现在真的是没办法，因为那个健康码我一扫就找不到信号，哪个刷都可以。我在外面，不管是超市也好，或者说是么子付钱么子去买么东西都能扫，就是门口就扫不了。而且我一旦站到那个小区门口扫的时候，马上就有志愿者打电话跟户籍警，包括做那个核酸检测，我无所谓啊。我姑娘的那个朋友，他是外地的，他等我安葬完了之后，他还回老家做那个核酸检测的话，他可以说是过了，也可以说不过，他不过的那个东西你都去不了。
As for the ugly, that brings us to our old mates in China. There are unbelievable reports that international actors of no fixed address, China, are starting to, among other things, hack into hospital computer systems. Unbelievably, but have a look at this. Australia's Ambassador for Cyber Affairs has said that the government was particularly concerned by reports that malicious cyber actors were seeking to damage or impair the operation of hospitals, medical services and crisis response organisations outside of Australia. This continues here. Well, that working from home arrangements had provided additional access points for network hackers. He also goes on to say that the reason that the hackers are going after the hospital system, that would be because they would be more willing to pay a ransom.
There's now a new push to revive our manufacturing sector, so Australia is no longer at the mercy of our trading partners.
The government has learned it.
It's to secure our national economic sovereignty by building an even stronger local manufacturing sector.
And so has Labor.
Our challenge must be to recover and to recover stronger.
But to be competitive, the government has to lower the cost of manufacturing.
So cheaper gas and electricity.
And the government will be pushing for more investment in gas and promoting hydrogen as a clean energy source.
Lockheed Martin is taking measures to mitigate COVID-19 impacts on F-35 production and rapidly recover from the pandemic by adjusting work schedules, maintaining employee skill sets, and accelerating payments to suppliers. The latest move comes in response to previously reported F-35 supplier delays due to the outbreak.
Taiwan President Tsai Ing-wen was sworn in for her second and final term on Wednesday, making her message loud and clear that Taiwan strongly rejects China's claims of sovereignty over the island. In her speech at Taipei's presidential palace, Tsai said Taiwan could not accept becoming part of China under its one country, two systems offer,
So the new standard the fake doctor you just saw is promoting, in the end, created the worst economic calamity since the Great Depression, a calamity that China benefited immensely from. China may be the only country on the globe that has become stronger in the face of this. No doubt the Chinese government was pleased with what their puppets at the WHO accomplished. Last night, the President of the United States released a letter to the World Health Organization warning that the U.S. will suspend funding permanently if the organization doesn't reform itself right away and wean itself from China. We'll see if that happens. Either way, though, the problem is much bigger than just the World Health Organization. China's tentacles extend almost everywhere in our society. The Chinese government is now deeply enmeshed in higher education in this country. It's not an overstatement. A number of university professors, including one today, have been arrested for spying on behalf of Beijing. Literally spies on campus, tenured spies. China has profound influence in Hollywood, you know that, in professional sports, we saw that last year, and in corporate America, up and down the chain. The Chinese own huge amounts of real estate throughout this country, one of the reasons your kids can't afford to live in our cities. All of this has changed our lives in profound ways, but all of it happened with very little public notice. Why? Because the people making it possible didn't want to advertise it. They were getting very rich from it. Every ambitious climber in corporate America knows the rules now. Don't offend Beijing, and you could be rewarded. The head of Disney's streaming service just left to become CEO of TikTok. That's a Chinese company. That may appall you, but in corporate America, many are envious. They wish they were him. Washington hasn't been immune to this either. China's influence is everywhere in the capital city. Former Senator Joe Lieberman lobbies for China now. Hard to believe, isn't it? Samir Jain was a top cybersecurity official for the Obama administration. Now he lobbies for Huawei. And those are just a couple of the very few who followed the law and actually... Well, our leaders in Washington wasted literally years accusing each other of working for Putin. China grew more powerful. It grew closer to replacing the United States as the world's dominant nation. China's tentacles extend almost everywhere in our society. The Chinese government is now deeply enmeshed in higher education in this country. It's not an overstatement. A number of university professors, including one today, have been arrested for spying on behalf of Beijing. China has profound influence in Hollywood, you know that, in professional sports, we saw that last year, and in corporate America, up and down the chain. The people making it possible didn't want to advertise it. They were getting very rich from it. Every ambitious climber in corporate America knows the rules now. Don't offend Beijing, and you could be rewarded.
Okay, and then there's the question about exactly how you punish China. Senator John Kennedy has some ideas. Take a listen. I'll give you a chance to respond.
China has many of its companies, some state-owned, listed on our exchanges, but they refuse to let the SEC look at their audits. Senator Chris Van Hollen and I have a bill to kick them off. We've known about this forever, and you know what the Congress has done about it? Nothing, zero, nada, zilch.
One of your Republican colleagues in the Senate saying, we've heard this refrain before, and in the end, very little gets done. Your final thought?
No, he's right. We actually need to step up and do something, some meaningful things. There's a whole thing, toolbox we've got. Mm-hmm. We must act this time. We have to act.
Well, here's a Lancet piece from January 24th, 2020. It's called Clinical Features of Patients Infected with 2019 Novel Coronavirus in Wuhan, China. Now, remember, this is the same day, I think, that we started our show, right? The 24th.
And the 23rd was, I think, the quarantining of Wuhan started on the 23rd, and the Hubei province lockdown started the 23rd. So this would be the next day.
So this is published on the 24th, and it says the findings. By January 2nd, 2020, 41 admitted hospital patients had been identified as having laboratory-confirmed 2019 COVID infections. Okay, and then it goes into the statistics about who and the ages and everything like that.
But 2 January.
But let's remember,
yes.
2 January
would mean December.
If there were 40 people with laboratory-tested infections, that means there were multiples of people who were infected who hadn't been tested yet, and those people who were tested were positive in December.
The Republic of China, the Free Republic of China, notified the World Health Organization on December 31st of 2019. You have we believe there's a SARS breakout with human-to-human transmission and community spread. okay, on the 31st Rachel Maddow's staff. Now, Mr. Raheem Kassam, you have your own analysis of this.
Yeah, I think this comes down to semantics. This is the kind of thing an editor looks for in copy, where it doesn't actually say what you think it says, or it's open to interpretation. And that's why Rachel Maddow and your stuff, you get a red card because I think you know that, you should know that, and you're willfully choosing the interpretation that doesn't represent that. But also, I'd say, and I love this letter, you know I love this letter, but whoever drafted this line gets a yellow card because it's not as tightly worded as it could be. Let's review the clip, the section of this thing that is in dispute. Quote, the WHO consistently ignored credible reports of the virus spreading in Wuhan in early December 2019, or even earlier, according to reports from the Lancet Medical Journal. The way Maddow's team is interpreting that is they think that the White House is referring to articles in the Lancet Medical Journal in early December 2019. The White House is saying, no, the Lancet reported about things that had to have happened in early December 2019 in their January 2nd articles. That's what's going on here.
Here's where I also think the phoniness of the Rachel Maddow part, besides, is that the overwhelming, if you go through this letter, I believe it's almost 4 pages long, this bill of indictment, it goes back and very much tracks through what World Health Organization. I don't remember in Rachel Maddow's segment her talking about the 12th January press release, her talking about the 14 January tweet, her talking about Tedros's obviously kowtowing and involvement and trips and all this, and the World Health Organization being accomplice before the fact, right? Because remember, what the CCP did is they knew they had a problem. They were preparing to shut down Lunar New Year. They were also preparing at the same time as they shut down Lunar New Year so they wouldn't spread it throughout China more. We're allowing it to go overseas with the innocent Chinese taking it everywhere. And at the same time, planning on sweeping up PPE, personal protective equipment, which is the key to both testing and the key to both the ICU unit doctors, the first across the beach at Normandy in this war against this virus, willingly and consciously making all of those decisions from being a net importer to a net exporter to an importer. They went to Europe, Brazil, the United States, and Australia and swept it all up. That's under the cover of the World Health Organization.
你看，在美国人拿房地产税和在欧洲，这房子永久是你的，地永久是你的，你买的也不是被公摊后的建筑面积、使用面积。这中国真的是，我觉得是全天下老百姓是太可怜了啊！就这干了2辈子、3辈子，买这么一个房子，大多数都超过200平方米。你家200平方米的4居室或者3居，我可以告诉你大家。你最多也就是说不到100平方米，也就是西方的8、9百尺就这超过200平方米的，也按建筑面积算，要跟你干嘛？亲爱的战友们，要拿房地产税听说中南坑这些人下了狠心了必须拿谁敢反对，谁敢游行就办他丫的就是在这次冠状病毒和折腾了这10几年，大折腾了10几年，所谓的反腐运动，把所有的对外的唯一的经济发展的中国啥都不产，就产廉价的物品，就对外贸易的赚外汇的，跟美国跟西方搞掰了，人家大面积的这个加工还有这个生产商全部是所有生产链全部外移东南亚和人家回到人家国家去，没辙了。大折腾已经快垮了个球子了到处是假砍面杖子。他也知道那个上海这个2、3个月全人类经济界讲的说，你要想投资就投上海股市吧，2800点香港的23000点恒生指数，就是假砍面杖子撑不住了。现在要不是什么割韭菜，你太拿自己当回事，你当韭菜了，你想当韭菜了什么剪羊毛，你也太拿你自己当回事，你以为你是只羊呢？现在是彻彻底底的把你摁在地上，你当奴隶这太流氓了，亲爱的兄弟姐妹们，这太流氓了。